So today's the day that I've decided to give solar another chance. Some of y'all may remember that I gave up on solar a while back when I was in San Francisco. I was just having so many problems with that old foldable panel. It lit multiple charge controllers on fire, was causing all kinds of issues, so I decided to throw the thing out. Over the last few months, I've mostly just been relying on my battery isolator to keep the house battery charged and to keep the fridge running. I did know that I wasn't going to be giving up on solar forever though, because this 100-watt panel here is brand new. It's been sitting in this box in Antine's apartment since I got it as a replacement panel in May. It's an HQST 100-watt flexible panel. Like I said, it was completely free. I had bought one originally, had a bunch of problems with it, went through this whole issue with them, sent it back to them, and they sent me this brand new replacement. So I'm pretty excited to have it. The issue was they sent it after I'd already left for my road trip, and it would have been too much of a hassle to get it. So I bought that other foldable one, used that for a while, had problems with that, got rid of it, and now we've got this one again. So the goal for today is to build a roof rack to mount on top of my existing roof rack so that we can hold the solar panel in place and keep it in full sun. Last time, if you guys remember, I had that flexible panel taped directly to the roof using 3M VHB tape. You can actually see the rust patches here from when I pulled up the tape a while back. I want to keep this thing mounted on top because that roof rack was partially shading the solar panel, and that's probably what caused a lot of the problems that I was having with that setup the first time around. I went to Home Depot earlier this morning with Antine and bought these two metal bracket things here. They're 4-foot long metal brackets and then a couple of random braces and nuts and bolts, and I think we're going to be able to put this together and it's going to work out. So here's like the quote-unquote finished product. It's not really too great. I attached the solar panel using industrial strength zip ties. I'm not really worried that it's gonna blow away or anything, but I think because it's a flexible panel, it's gonna move a lot on the highway and it's gonna make a lot of noise when I get the element up to faster speeds. So I'm a little bit worried about that. The whole idea of putting this thing together though is so that I can eventually put a rigid panel here, 100 watt, maybe a 140 watt rigid panel. And with the weight of that, I don't think that's gonna move too much on the highway. I think that this setup here will be able to house it just fine. I'm gonna test it out at higher speeds and then maybe consider adding some 3M VHB tape all along the sides and along the crossbars to try to keep it down and maybe eliminate some of that vibration, but we'll see how it goes. That's gonna have to be a project for another day though, guys. It's about to start raining and it's getting dark. So I ended up driving on the highway this morning and actually didn't have any issues with this at all. The sound was barely even noticeable. I mean, maybe a little bit louder than it normally would have been without this new rack on here, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. I am going to keep an eye on the zip ties though to make sure that they don't go bad. It would be a problem if they started breaking and then the solar panel flew away, but I think that because they're industrial strength, because they're black, it's going to be fine, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this works out. On the agenda for this afternoon is just to hook up the new charge controller here. It is a simple PWM Renogy Wanderer I know I need to go with MPPT. I know a lot of people are going to suggest that, but unfortunately MPP charge controllers are like $200 and more, and I don't really have the money to do that right now, so I decided to go with a fancy PWM one instead. The charge controller ended up being just over 50 bucks, but I decided to go with the Renogy one and spend a little bit more money than getting one of the cheap $20 Chinese ones that I could have gotten, because Renogy, I've had good luck with them in the past. They've honored warranties for me. I went to their headquarters a while back when I was in California, and I just believe that if there is a problem with this thing at some point over the next year, they're going to replace it and they're going to be good and their customer service is going to be great. So, you know, hopefully there aren't any issues and the thing works out fine for the next couple of years, but if there is a problem, I trust that they're going to be able to help me out with it. I'm happy to be giving solar another chance here. It's nice to have a new setup, a nice new rack that's going to keep the thing from being partially shaded underneath the old roof rack like it was before. It's nice that it's a brand new panel. I got a brand new charge controller. The only thing that I need is a new battery. I'm still using the old 35 amp hour one, but I do intend to upgrade to a 100 amp hour AGM battery. I know I mentioned that before. They're just pretty expensive. They're like $200 and I just don't have the money to do that right now. But at some point in the near future, that is on the agenda. And then at that point, I'll have an entirely pretty much brand new solar system and hoping that things will work out. Like I said, I've had issues with those flexible panels before, and I think that that's just kind of the name of the game with those things. They're not really that reliable. They're not really the greatest pieces of equipment or technology. So when that does go bad, notice I said when, I anticipate that it will happen eventually. I'm going to replace it with a rigid panel, probably something a little bigger, 140 watts or so, and I think that the same roof rack setup that I have is going to work out fine for it. It seems pretty sturdy overall. You know, I'm thinking I might paint the rails black to make them blend in a little bit more and to avoid some surface rust, but overall I'm really happy with it. And right now with the little thin flexible panel, it's really hard to see the thing when you're walking by unless you get really close to it to really realize that it is actually a solar panel and not just some kind of like work rack or something like that on the roof of the Element. I mean, it's pretty hard to hide a 100 watt solar panel on top of an SUV. I mean, it doesn't matter which way you slice it. With the old system, when I had the foldable one out, I mean, it's pretty noticeable no matter how you do it. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out overall. Hopefully we'll get some better sunshine over the next couple of days and I'll be able to monitor the system and see how it keeps the fridge running. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to y'all in the next video.